Likkle Minty here, and I keep saying I'm always blessed, but I'm more than blessed, and even more than blessed, because, you know, I like to catch up with the artists in the reggae industry, but today, this man stems from over 4 decades of music, yeah? More than 30 albums, numerous amount of hits, started from the Studio One days right up to this day and still going strong. An icon, a living legend. Make I introduce Freddie Mcgregor. Greetings, man. Bless
My respect.
Yeah, man. Nice to see the eye, you know?
Yes.
Tired of taking the blame, I might as well play the game. Whoa, whoa, sometimes it can be so unfair. I'm longing to see you. I wanna know how you've been doing over yonder. Oh well, yeah. I'm gonna catch this flight, and when I reach my destination, hoping to smile, longing to see me. I thought you'd drop me a line just to say hello, my dear. I'm doing fine. Oh well, man. It doesn't matter anyway now, 'cause my love for you will never change. Tell me now, 'cause I want me million of myself. When push comes to shove, everybody's gonna put the blame for loving you, yeah.
God, a person like you's been on from before my idea. I keep saying before my idea, man.
Which is true still. I mean,
Yeah,
1963 is a long time and a long way from 2013.
So far. So, for all the viewers who do not know where Freddie McGregor is coming from, just a little recap. I know you can't say everything, but
Yeah.
a little recap.
Well, Freddie McGregor started out as Little Freddie. Clarendon, 1963, went to Kingston with Ernest Wilson, Peter Austin, who were already members of the Clarendonians group. And that was my beginning. We ended up at Coxon Studio One, 13 Brentford Road, and the rest was history. Because when I walked into that studio at Brentford Road, it was like a university with great students and scholars. Scatterlights, Jackie Mittoo, Bob Marley, Ken Booth, Alton, Tony Gregory, Gaylord, you name it. I mean, Delray, all the great people were there, and it was just fascinating for me. I guess at that age, it was so exciting.
And how old was he then?
I was 7 when I went to Kingston.
7. Wow, young age, you know.
And so it was fun and excitement for me. These are some of the people we used to listen to on radio anyways. And having gone there with Ernest and Peter, who had become really popular as Clarendonians. I mean, everybody that checked them, Ernest, hey, look, brother, this, yeah, man, look, Freddie can sing. And sing for me, and I would look at tune on my makeup and roll, dumpling roll. And the body also for sing a tune, that tune on my boss. And it's big forward that. So after a while, you know, everybody...
You still remember that tune?
Yeah, actually, I recorded that song with Stephen the Genius, you know, some years ago. We have that song with him and Tiger in combination.
Okay, cool.
And so Stephen have a bunch of songs when he was 6 years old, like School Done Rule and a number of other tracks recorded at that time. And we're looking to put out a CD with Stephen using some of those tracks, some of those early tracks,
that's good.
including that Roll Dumpling Roll track, which was never recorded by me, but a
Okay.
song that was made up by me.
'Cause every little thing that I did, girl, I see it in you. You're mine. And every little day, every little way, every single that you'll be there for me. 'Cause I'm, oh well now. Is it how you walk or is it how you talk? Is it how you smile that makes me come? I wanna know what it is about you.
And then, so you was even part of the Clarendonians, from
Well, I have a track on the Clarendonians album which featured myself and Ernest Wilson called Do Good and Good Will Follow You.
Okay.
That's how we used to roll. Mr. Dad, I guess, for some reason, you know, that track ended up on the album. So.
Okay, and then from the Studio One era, where did it take off from there? Just
Well, Studio One, myself and Ernest recorded a number of songs that's Fitzy and Freddie, because Ernest is real name is Ernest Fitzroy Wilson. So I said that record a bunch of 7 inches came out as Fitzy and Freddie. Do Good and Good Will Follow You. Why Did You Do It? Later on, Pledging My Love. A bunch of material. And then, moved on from there. I think my first project outside of that Studio One situation was working with Urchina Smith. Actually, I started with a band called Generation Gap after that Studio One era. That was the first band that I performed with. And that was a dance and show band, pretty much like Fab Five. I mean, Fab Five, Generation Gap, Inner Circle. We were all around at the same time. Those were early years. And then we did the entire nightclub circuit. We did graduation balls, office parties, just about every function in Jamaica. We were the band there. Them time we have Afro as well, Bellfoot pants, Big Hill shoes, that are the lick. And we continued with that for a while until 1975. I hooked up with Urchina Smith, and that was Soul Syndicate band. We did a US tour with Soul Syndicate during those years, and then we continued recording some tracks like Sergeant Brown, Mark of the Beast, among other tracks with Urchina Smith. Then came their version of Love Ballad and Natural Cali, etc., etc. That was that era.
Big song.
And then, it just basically moved on from there, and, it just continued, and touring became a real essential part of my thing later on, and we continued to tour, break new grounds, and do different things, but the main focus was always to continue to record, because to record is to build your profile, your popularity, and
that's it.
And that's what we continue to do throughout the years.
So many people wanna see me. Yeah, why them can't do it? No one can stop loving you. I wouldn't be so ungrateful to you. You've done so many things for me. Even made me strong when I was weak. So many people wanna see me. Tell them they can. So many people wanna see me. Oh well now, but I can't. No way I can't. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Hey now, the things you do for me, yeah, no other woman has done for me. Make me happy throughout my life. I can't stop loving you, well, no way. So many people wanna see me. Stop loving. Tell them they can. So many people wanna see me. Stop loving you. But you're my love, you're my life, you're my sister tonight. Yeah, now. Say you're my love, you're my life, you're my sister tonight and forever. Don't worry about it.
Being in a household where reggae was just dominant every single day. My father, my mother.
Thanks to them.
Yes, man. I've got all their reggae collection.
Still add to it.
Yeah, I'm still add to it up to this day. From them days, big tunes like Big Shit, and even collaborations with Dennis Brown and so forth.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Say, what a thing and the place tonight. Yeah. Say when I'm ready, you must hold on steady. We're moving off at lightning speed. Yes, take a seat, just wait till I'm ready. Emporium with it, so hold on steady. And then the big ship sail.
You probably why you remember Clapham, they had a reggae Suns.
Yeah, that was the biggest outdoor music event that I can remember here in this country. It was on a Sunday too. We talked about it from time to time. It was one of the hottest Sundays I can remember in England, and one of the biggest crowds ever seen at a reggae event. It was in Clapham Common, and the crowd spilled over into the park next door. And I remember that day there was a helicopter flying over, wetting up people, and that's how big the crowd was. And I think it was from then on that the City of London decided it was probably either too expensive or too risky to have functions of that magnitude, even though it was incident free. Since then, I can't remember an outdoor event of that magnitude here in this country.
No can I. Because my Earthstrong that weekend as well. So it's
Wow.
my mum that took me to the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Jibby's a man who grew me from a long time. So he took me behind the scenes and introduced me to yourself. Then the time I was young, but
I remember Sly was there too. Maxi Priest was on the show.
Big
London Gospel Choir and a bunch of different people.
And then I think it was Dennis Brown. I'm sure
Dennis was on the
yeah,
show too.
Yeah. And then it's from then I just got enlightened more and more and more. And I said, you know what? I'm feeling this. This is my thing. This is my thing. And then before you know it, I was on the radio and so forth. And then when did you start your label, doing your own?
Big Ship label started in 1989. The whole concept of Big Ship, because when we started, we had done some concert events too. I never even realized that Big Ship would today become the kind of organization it has, because it really started from a label concept, and we started doing concerts, and then the whole production thing just kicked in, and later on the recording studio, and so it has just become one big movement. But I guess that's how people like Polydor and other companies start out too, so minus the funding. But we were able to hold our own and continue to struggle and hold our own until it is what it is today. I think the last 4 or 5 years, Stephen has been producer of the year, which says a lot for us. And we managed to break a number of younger artists through courtesy of Stephen and them again too. So
which actually, and for all you viewers, if you don't know who Stephen is
Stephen the Genius.
Stephen the Genius.
And Chino. Those are my sons as well. So, and this is a generation that is keeping the whole Big Ship movement continuing, produce people like Mavada, Ellie, Sean Paul, Shaggy. I mean, you name it, I don't know. The whole scope of the dancehall.
And the production is proper tight.
Oh, yes.
Proper.
Stephen can be truly credited for being a real big man as a young kid.
Yeah, man, love his work. Has he got a daughter as well?
Shima. Yeah, Shima is here with us. Yeah. She's been performing with us always.
Because I've heard a few of her tunes and I said, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
I said, talented family. And it's still going on. And as the captain of the ship, you're still doing your thing. And even up to this day, we're in 2013 and you got the new
50
album.
years after, we'll just drop a new CD, The Captain.
Yeah, that 50 years after, This is the man, So, The Captain. I mean, you got 16 big fat tracks on the album, and I can't, it's very rare you come across an album where you could just put the album in and play it from start to finish, and every track is just uplifting or it's got some kind of form messaging, because you got from Bag of Hype, which is a music video you probably seen me feature.
That's running, that one is running a lot in America too, we're getting a lot of love
because
for that.
As I said, with that one, it's got a message in it.
It's directly talking to the youth, and
some of them are youths said them not live right up themselves in a big man's sight. Them no know daytime different from night. Walk around every day with a big bag of hype, pure hype, big bag of hype. When me talk to them say respect you. But them no have none for me and you. Hotting up the place cause it's pure curfew. Make the Babylon them a pressure me and you. And them a pressure me and you. I wanna know what happened to the good old days. When we used to listen to what our parents said. Throw away the madness when must the children play. Say if we throw away the gun and throw away the knife, and let's give thanks for a brighter day.
That's it.
Because today's generation is who we really want to reach in a big way. And that's partly the reason Gappy is one of the artists on the album too. Because Gappy is one of the young popular artists in this country and Europe. So if we can reach out to Gappy's audience, that's a great thing, and Gappy can reach out to my audience. And that song, Standing Strong, is actually doing that. Because a lot of people are loving that song across America. And the fact that Gappy and the way Gappy did the track too. There's a whole combination of different things. But hey, the people who are Freddie McGregor's fan, they are loving Gappy Ranks.
Yeah.
And the same thing is happening. Gappy Ranks fan
You're reaching
is loving Freddie McGregor
yes.
for the track, and it's the same reason I chose Etana for a track on the CD too.
Let it be me.
It's about reaching out to different audiences. She reaching my audience, me reaching her audience, and that's how I think we need to bridge this generation gap. And as an artist, I think when you do things like this, it help you to your career to live for as long as you live, because you stay current in all the different marketplaces.
That's it. I think it's easy adaptable, and it's not easy for anybody that's been around for so long, still going strong, and to adapt with today's music.
I mean, I used to think I made the right choice going to Kingston at 7 years old, but looking back at it now, I couldn't understand anything about going to Kingston at the age of 7. So I guess we'll just follow the Father's will as him created it for me, and like I said to you, 50 years after, I'm here to tell my story just the same. So
still going strong. So viewers, if you haven't got the album, you need to go purchase a copy of the album. It's called The Captain. You got as I say, collaborations with Gappy Ranks, Etana,
some big tunes there. My Story, Equal Rights,
even
Africa is on heavy rotation on MX radio in America, which is a satellite radio, XM, and that song has been played every day. You can listen to your radio and you hear it 4 or 5 times on XM, which is a big network. And just generally, everybody's just finding different tracks that they love on the CD. And that's what grabs people while we're on tour in America a couple weeks ago. Just the fact that people think this is a CD. When I'm driving, I can put the CD on. One lady called me up and she said she's still trying to figure out which is her favorite song on the CD after her daughter gave it to her and she's been playing it for 2 weeks. And then she called me and said, boy, I really think that song with the Etana is my favorite, but I'm not sure yet. I'm going to call you back. Because she still keep listening.
Every week you're going to find a different track that takes to you.
And it was carefully crafted like that. The tracks were selected and was put together in a way that people would understand that there's a concept there. If you look at how the track listing is run, it coincides with Jamaica's 50th year of independence. Also
Jamaica.
Move Up Jamaica, also my 50th year as an artist, and the selections that we've done are not just selections, they are carefully chosen. For example, Equal Rights. There's this big movement going on right now around the world where, I think the younger generation have lost a sense of what the whole cultural thing has been and used to be. So from time to time, I think we as an older generation need to kind of remind them, for example, that, hey, every man, every woman have an equal right to live and be free, no matter what color, class, or race he may be. So those are messages sent through the music. So it wasn't just choosing that song, although that's a song that I've loved for many years, but it's the fact that that message is relevant today, and we want it to resonate with the youths them of this generation.
Every man have an equal right to live and be free, no matter what color, class, or race he may be. Treat him right, Lord, treat your brother good. Take a tip from me, don't hang him on the tree. You should never give against another man. Oh Lord, now every woman have an equal right to live and be free, no matter what color, class, or race she may be. Just remember we are all one flesh and blood. Help your brother up, don't push him in the mud. You should never give against another man. Oh Lord, now.
There are other tracks that we pick on the album. Well, Love Ballad is just one of my all-time favorite songs. You can say that is a love affair. A love affair with myself, because Dilly just put up the track. We just sit down on the studio and Dilly just put up the track.
I'm big up Dilly, class. Stingray.
Of course, Stingray. In England, since me and Stingray worked for over many years, we kind of just find a comfort zone right there. So. And Dilly is a superior producer in terms of, but can always depend upon Dilly for find some rhythm track with us. Crazy.
Dilly knows the thing, inside out.
So when Dilly does some push up a track, I'm do most time just smile because it just laugh like this, you know.
Nice.
Because you know when you have a working vibe, you don't change that. Like them say, if a cup don't break, don't change it. So we'll continue to work and we'll continue to put out great work. And one of the outstanding thing with this album in terms of production is that if you listen to the productions from Stingray, everybody make reference to, yo, the production on the album, I'm crazy, which is true. As a musician, as a singer, producer myself, if it wasn't my album, I would have listened to that album and said, yo, the production and shot,
it's
you know, which is really important, clean, tight,
the sound,
magic. So you know, when all the track like Love Ballad was pushed up, and despite the fact some recorded the song before, you know, I heard this new version, I'm like, me I look on Dylan, I look by each other and I said, Dylan, give me a track. Walking out of voice room.
It's giving the actual song a new beat.
Of course, of course. And to this new generation too.
Yeah.
So bang, we went inside a one take. And that's why the track started the way it did. Because it was a vibe thing if you listen to the record. Say, yo, you don't know. Big Ship Stingray, this is how we roll. We just went for it. I would just keep it same way on the record, you know.
Nah, man, nice.
So it has a concept in terms of the songs that we chose. Like me say, the Beatles track again too is a track that we're getting a lot of love for because we did perform Hollywood Bowl in California, and for some reason that kind of audience, you know, those people are just fanatical when it comes to the Beatles. And when we started that track, You Won't See Me, I mean, you should see the kind of vibe, you know, everybody singing along to it.
So when I heard that, I said, wow.
It's just carefully choosing the songs that we do, and we wanted an album where people could, like you say, put in the CD and enjoy every track. And Jenny gave an overview of the career and, you know, when it started, how it started, and here we are today, 50 years after. This is the Captain.
You won't see me.
I can't even thought the album, and it's not an album you say, let me forward to the next track. Nah, you just let it there.
Yeah, you have to listen to the tracks as they go down.
And if you miss part of it, like you park up and you got your car,
go back to it.
You go from the start again. You can't start halfway in the track. You're missing something.
I agree with you.
Yes, man. So
but thanks that the people see it that way too, because that's what we wanted to achieve when we put the album together.
Because I tell you, the Big Ship Camp still going strong. So if you don't hear Freddie, his sons them taking over the thing. Stephen the Genius.
Steve and Chino go hard right now, and Shima's album coming too.
Even Chino's got an album, yeah.
Oh yeah, Chino has an album out. Chino's finishing up his second album now.
Okay. Good.
But you know, the work continues. We also have artists that we signed like Ladden, which, you know, Steve is working on his new CD too. And as soon as that's done, we'll move on to the next project. Steve has a new CD out now called Labworks.
Yeah, I heard that.
And that's really going great guns at the moment. And the song called Root Sound, that's a song that I think is definitely going to take off real time. Because people are going back to roots sound, in truth, you know. I mean, we've gotten like 35 years of solid dancehall beats. But I think hardcore music-loving people are asking the question, where is the root soul?
That's it.
So with the emergence of youth like Chronics, Steve Man, Chino and them, Romain Virgo,
they're keeping the thing alive.
Albamar, Janine, a bunch of youngsters coming through, Protege, and these youths are coming through as positive youths. So we should see a big change and a big movement forward. Then to add to that, we see people like Eddie Murphy and Snoop come through, and them love the genre, and them really do some serious reggae material. And then Rihanna, that would make them know, say, yo, it's me introduce it to Uno, because me a Caribbean girl, and Nicki Minaj, she not going to be left out of it either. And people like Jamie Foxx are going to show them, say, yo, I understand reggae too. And so you kind of have this big movement, which is good, and good for our music, you know. So we're just hanging in there doing what we do best, and hopefully, you know, we'll live to see the next generation of entertainers have a far better situation than we did.
Oh my Lord. well. Oh my God. I want everyone sing that song now. Come on. I don't mind when you say that you're going away. I just don't wanna be lonely. I don't care if we share only moments a day. Yeah. Lonely. I'd rather be loved, needed, building on to give a love I can't give when you're gone. Yeah, when you're gone. Just don't wanna be lonely. Oh Lord, man.
Captain, you need to buy the album, The Captain, available everywhere.
iTunes, Amazon, VP, Greensleeves. You just go online and it's there. It's available everywhere and in your nearest record stores too. But buy the original and support the music, because that's another issue we have. And that's something we're going to talk about briefly. To say that, this is Britain. So the industry here is somewhat different from in the US. Similar but different. And what is happening in the US now is we demanded that reggae wasn't getting attention or enough attention. And we fuss and fight, just like we fuss and fight over Mr. Mandela when he was in prison until people started to listen seriously and release Mr. Mandela. We have been saying we need more respect when it comes Grammy time. We want you to stop giving us our awards behind the curtain. Do it on stage like all these other artists make the world see.
Yes, that's it. Enlighten the whole thing. 'Cause remember,
if you love the thing and you really respect it, then give it the attention it deserves.
That's it.
And so we've been fighting for these things until they probably think, well, yeah, it's true, let's do something. And so they created a reggae Billboard chart, which is quite good, to have a chart inside the Billboard magazine for reggae is a good thing. But when you look at the reggae Billboard chart today, it's been dominated by American white reggae groups. Not that it's a bad thing that they are into reggae, but I think it should show us as a people that we need to be supporting our own more. Because these kids, they die for us. Over the years, we see a lot of these kids when we're on tour. We have fancy tour buses, they have yellow school buses with pillows and whatever can make them get a comfortable rest. But they love it in so much that they were willing to go through that. Sometimes when we stop at truck stops, you feel bad for them. Because we have these fancy buses and you see them taking gas and it's a yellow school bus. But hey, they know what they're doing. They're making a sacrifice. Today, you see groups like them, Soldiers, they're performing to audiences of 60,000 and up.
Yeah, I've seen it myself.
Revolution, crazy. They have a following like a small Beatles. Matasawa, a Jewish kid. All these people are doing extremely well now. And if you look at the Billboard chart, it's been dominated by those artists. I doubt if there's a Jamaican artist in the top 10 of the Billboard reggae chart. To show you. Snoop is number one. He has been number one since the release of his album. So, maybe if that trend should continue, 5-10 years down the road, you ask a young American kid, you know about reggae? Reggae? Oh yeah, Snoop is reggae. Eddie Murphy's reggae.
So we need to.
You won't be hearing about Barry Salmon and Freddie McGregor and all these people. So our people need to support our works. And for it to be successful in those marketplaces, we need the support of our own people. Because Snoop wants to sell records because he gets support from his people, which is the hip hop fraternity.
So why
the people
can't we
who love him. So we need to support our own. Go out there, buy the original, stop burning the CD, because it will only help the industry. And one more thing to my viewing audience out there. We are in the world of internet today, social media. So people can go online and find out how you can become a member of the RIAA or the Grammy Committee. Because one of the problems our music have also is every time it comes down to Grammy in February, the people who choose the music are not reggae professionals.
They haven't really got an inclination.
They don't know. So if the Marley name comes up, hey, the Marley has a new record, let's nominate them. Without even checking to see whether it's the best album. Or, hey, Lee Scratch Perry, we know that name. Or the next name that they're familiar with. our people need to become members of those societies. So every year when it comes to that time, we can actually vote.
Put an input into
the vote is the input that is needed, because we can say and we can quarrel that hey, Mataswari shouldn't win the Grammy because Freddie album is much better. It is in reality, yes, but hey, when you look at the numbers and you look at all the different things happening, they have the support, we don't. So we can support ourselves by finding ways to do so. And one of the ways to go online, find out how you can become a member of the Grammy Committee or the RIAA, and so you can vote. You become eligible to vote. So when it comes to February and the Grammy times, I mean, we don't need no non-specialists to tell us which is the best one. We, the people who know which is the best one, we must go online and vote. And trust me, it counts.
Definitely.
Numbers counts.
That's it.
So you know, just a good word to the viewers out there.
Get on to
support in it. There are many ways you can support us. Buy the CD and all of that. Come to the concert, but there are other ways you can support us too. That will be more meaningful for the end result when it comes to a time like February. You know what I'm saying? So give thanks.
So Freddie, what else is happening in the pipeline this year? Cause I tell you, you're a man who's doing so much things, busy.
Yeah, well, after all the touring that we just started here about, this is what we're going to end up on. This big, huge ship here. It's called the Independence of the Seas. And you can actually go online and check this out. Info at jwfamilytravel.com. You can actually see us walking up and down the ship, checking out the spots that we're performing. But this is an 8-night cruise done by the Big Ship family. And we cruise every year, but this one is more so the biggest cruise that's going to be happening, including Marcia Griffiths, Mikey Spice, Stephen the Genius, Chino, Ladden, a soca artist named Askabi, myself. There's a DJ called DJ Rai, and there's one from Florida called C Rai. And it's an 8-night Caribbean cruise. We'll be going to St. Martin, St. Kitts, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, Haiti, Cayman, all over the place, Mexico, and we'll be having performances on different nights. And you basically just cruise every morning, the ship go to a different port, and you come off and you walk around like tourists, pick up your souvenirs, come back on board. Once you're on board, everything is all inclusive.
Yeah.
So you know you just get fat for 8 days and come back and burn it off, you know what I'm saying?
you don't want to miss this, cause this cruise, I wonder if I'm going to be around them time.
It's December 7th to the 15th, so it gives people time to come back home and enjoy your Christmas with your family. But it's a nice break before the Christmas holiday.
Before the season.
Yes.
The holiday season, yes.
And it's a big ship. And like I say, you can go online and you get all the information. Info at jwfamilytravel.com. You get everything you need. And there are payment plans too, because a lot of people pay down £100, £150, £50, and there's a cut-off date like the end of September. And the ship is selling very, very well at the moment. So
the best way
those who are interested still have a chance to get into the whole payment plan structure, or you can just pay for it. It's not very expensive.
Freddie, before we leave, any last words of encouragement?
Well, there is always, for me personally, I'm starting with music, because there's always a generation coming, and I recognize that from a long time, which is, like I said, the reason why I built my studio wasn't only to be able to do my production, but because me struggle as a youth in Jamaica too with studios. There are certain studios that we couldn't go to. Those studios were always provided for what we call uptown artists, like Dynamic Sounds, Federal Records. We can't go to them places. We could only go to Treasure Isle and Mr. Dad up the road, because they must have like a black man and it's a roots vibe I go on. So them places there is where we belong, so that's where we hang out. So when we build my studio, me know would I be able to help some youngsters as well, and we achieved that. But in saying that, we want the young youths in the music today to try and understand the business side of it. For too many years, we love the music. We love the music in so much that we just do the music and we don't care about the other parts of it. We have to. You have to, during the process, try to understand the business. It is a business. It's music, business. So we need to understand the business. If you are an aspiring entertainer, try to learn how to protect your mechanical rights and all your rights. Try to learn all the things you can because you don't necessarily need to rely on a lawyer to tell you what it is that you need to do. Sometimes you can tell the lawyer what it is that you want him to do when you understand what it is that you are doing. So to understand the business is really important. I think with the new situation now and the rising up of some young intelligent youths, we're seeing a difference. Like for example, this past weekend we're in Europe, major festivals, and you can see Chronixx rolling through, and you see a nice team of young kids from Jamaica School of Music, and I felt proud of that, you know. And Chronixx are my little youth still, we love him, and
Chronixx is doing
we love like that because they pay attention to people like us. So you can see a youth of really having foot grounded and look as though him going to be one of the serious ones coming through. So, you know, when we look around him, I see a nice team. And I always thought that's always lacking. You know, because people want to be there as a manager because you get a free ticket and you get a hotel room. It's way more than that. So we love that movement that is happening. And we see Janine out there and I see the same movement. I see Protege and him have a crew and it looks good. And if those kids continue that way, I can see a greater future ahead. And we just want the ones who are coming into the industry to kind of look at those things, position yourself and take charge of the industry you're in. Other than that, you know, I just want to appeal to the young youths out there to just continue to listen to your parents, for that is a law, because I think we're losing that too. Children, you have to obey your parents. That is a law.
A must.
Nobody no love you like your parents. None of your friends them where you claim say peer pressure. None of them no love you like your parents. When anything happens to you, is your mother and father and your sister and brother. You go and see them every day around your hospital bed. So that's where your focus need to be first and foremost. And basically, just try and stay out of trouble. The system is set up to trap us, young kids, and our young kids too. So we have to be careful and be wise when it comes to those things. And we need you youngsters to be out here, because we're not the future tomorrow. So just stay wise, and like I say, honor your mother and father that your days may be long upon the land. And the rest of it will come naturally still. I think that's a good starting point. And to go back to the Bible, there's nothing wrong with that. Because the Bible is a real way for grow you pick to them. That's how we grow as youth. You know, the fear of the Lord rise up always. So it make you not want to do the wrong things, them, you know. It make you only want to do that which is right. So, you know, my thing to the youth, them, just love one another, man. Love your little brothers and your sister, them. That's what the knife thing, nobody stab up nobody, you know, the shooting thing with nobody. Stay focused and let's move forward as a people and as a nation. That's most important.
Amen. And like as one of your tracks on the album, don't get caught up in the bag of hype.
No,
don't get caught
we
up.
don't need the hype. Life is real. Hype is what it is. Hype. To make believe that it is real. But the real thing is when you are your real self. No hype.
Done spreading it, 'cause that's my work. Yes, I'm spreading it, 'cause there's nothing else to do. People, look around you. Can't you see we're living in poverty? This pain is too much for me. Oh Jah, oh Jah, oh Jah, save the people, free them from captivity. This pain is too much for me. Oh Jah, oh Jah, oh Jah.
Well, them lick toots in I made with a buckle the other day and just kind of come off of the road. So that leave myself, buries people like Marcia. Then we lose Gregory, we lose Dennis, we lose Culture, we lose so much of our brothers, you know. And some I know is a reason why me there still, because just being in Europe last week, it's just magical. Every time we walk out on the stage, it's like people is like, wow, we don't lose nothing, but there's nothing to be lost. We met the tune them, our for go out there and deliver them to the people the way we know. And the place is devastated, but it's all good. So we know God work with upon and we'll continue to do that until such time.
One more time if you're true born winner. I was born a winner.
Captain the ship. get the album, The Captain. Yeah, Freddie.
Enough respect.
Greetings, King. Yeah. All right. Blessed. Yeah. All right.
Right now, me ready,
Big up,
massive,
Cap.
hold on steady. Likkle Minty, I move at lightning speed, yes. Take back seat and wait for we ready. Likkle Minty, die, massive, hold on steady. A Likkle Minty in my sail across the ocean. Rubber dub, we don't want no commotion. A Likkle Minty in my nice up your station. Yo, Minty, deal with the thing now, man.